To Kill a Mockingbird passage, trees dying. Jem and Scout have decided they need to thank the person who has been putting gifts in the knothole of the tree on the Radley property. They write a thank you note and plan to deliver it by leaving it in the knothole. Here is the passage. Next morning, on the way to school, he ran ahead of me and stopped at the tree. Jem was facing me when he looked up, and I saw him go stark white. Scout! I ran to him. Someone had filled our knothole with cement. Don't you cry now, Scout. Don't cry now. Don't you worry, he muttered at me all the way to school. When we went home for dinner, Jem bolted his food, ran to the porch, and stood on the steps. I followed him. Hasn't passed by yet, he said. Next day, Jem repeated his vigil and was rewarded. Howdy-do, Mr. Nathan, he said. Mornin', Jem. Scout, said Mr. Nathan Radley as he went by. Mr. Radley, said Jem. Mr. Radley turned around. Mr. Radley, did you put cement in the hole in that tree down yonder? Yes, he said. I filled it up. Why'd you do it, sir? Trees dying. You plug 'em up with cement when they're sick. You ought to know that, Jem. Jem said nothing more about it until late afternoon. When we passed our tree, he gave it a meditative pat on its cement and remained deep in thought. He seemed to be working himself into a bad humor, so I kept my distance. As usual, we met Atticus coming home from work that evening. When we were at our steps, Jem said, Atticus, look down yonder at that tree, please, sir. What tree, son? The one on the corner of the Radley lot coming from school. Yes. Is that tree dying? Why, no, son, I don't think so. Look at the leaves. They're all green and full. No brown patches anywhere. It ain't even sick. That tree's as healthy as you are, Jem. Why? Mr. Nathan Radley said it was dying. Well, maybe it is. I'm sure Mr. Radley knows more about his trees than we do. Atticus left us on the porch. Jem leaned on a pillar, rubbing his shoulders against it. Do you itch, Jem? I asked as politely as I could. He did not answer. Come on in, Jem, I said. After a while, he stood there until nightfall, and I waited for him. When he went to the house, I saw he had been crying. His face was dirty in the right places, but I thought it odd that I had not heard him. Question 12. Drawing conclusions. Based on the context of the passage, which of the following statements is the most reasonable conclusion as to why Jem keeps telling Scout not to cry? A. He does not want Scout to waste time crying over such an unimportant matter. B. In an effort to control his own emotions, he says the words out loud to Scout as if she needs the comfort. C. Jem is worried that Scout will be so upset about the knothole that she will tell Atticus and get them in trouble. D. While he is not upset, he can see that Scout has tears in her eyes, and he wants to comfort her. Question 13. Drawing conclusions. The Radley tree is not dying, and Atticus understands that it isn't dying. Why does Atticus go from saying that the tree is healthy to telling Jem that it might be dying if Mr. Radley says it is? A. Atticus believes that the Radleys are dangerous and that questioning Mr. Radley could put Jem in danger. B. Atticus believes in minding his own business, and he wants to teach his son to respect other people's ways, even when he doesn't agree with them. C. Atticus is trying to hide the fact that he does not know how to recognize a dying tree. D. Atticus is too tired after work to even be having this conversation, and he doesn't often take time to explain things to his kids anyway. Question 14. Drawing conclusions. Why does Jem bolt his food and rush to go wait on the porch? A. He wants the opportunity to ask Mr. Radley about the cement in the knothole. B. He wants to play football after dinner, and he is waiting for Dill. C. He doesn't want to be around Scout because she's been annoying him. Or D. He wants to hurry and tell Atticus about all that he's found in the tree. Question 15. Drawing conclusions. It can reasonably be inferred from the description of Jem's behaviors in this passage that his attitude about the tree is A. Amused. Jem is excited to add this to their play about the Radleys. B. Frightened. He is worried that Mr. Nathan will come after him next. C. Saddened. Jem is upset because Nathan is cutting off their communication with Boo. D. Guilty. Jem feels guilty for asking Nathan questions about the tree. Question 16. Cause and effect. The last lines of the passage state, "He stood there until nightfall, and I waited for him. When he went in the house, I saw he had been crying. His face was dirty in all the right places, but I thought it odd that I had not heard him." It can be reasonably inferred that the reason Scout had not heard Jem crying is because A. Scout is mistaken and Jem has not actually been crying. B. Jem is maturing and he thinks he needs to hide his emotions from others. C. Jem was not even on the porch. D. Scout got distracted by Calpurnia in the kitchen, so she did not hear him. Question 17. Drawing conclusions. Why does Scout talk to Jem as politely as she could as he is looking at the Radley tree? A. Scout understands that Jem is upset about something and wants to empathize with him. B. Scout blames Jem for the knothole being cemented, but she doesn't want him to know. C. Scout wants to get on Jem's good side so that he doesn't tell Atticus that she lied about the tree. D. Scout hopes that if she's nice to Jem, he'll share what they found in the tree. Question 18. Author's choice, mood. Which of the following words best describes the mood of the tree's dying passage as a whole? A. Disappointing. B. Terrifying. C. Magical. D. Funny.